What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Man, it's been an end of another day. I am down here working on this house, trying to get it done. We're got a lot of progress done. Thank God. I'll be going back home tomorrow, and I can get in here when Michael's done, get cleaned up, so I can go get something to eat because I'm hungry. Couple of things. Um, Baker Mayfield trade. Now, see, this is silly season. There's nothing really going on with the Cowboys right now, so everything is kind of quiet. It's the quiet before the storm. But a couple of things transpired with the NFL. So with the Baker Mayfield trade, here's an interesting part. Baker Mayfield wanted to get out of Cleveland so bad. How bad did he want to get out? Baker Mayfield gave up $3.5 million of guaranteed money to make the trade happen. He literally said, I will pay you guys so I can leave. And that's what he did. So, with Deshaun Watson in his situation of whether he's going to play at all this year or if he gets, half the season suspended or whatever, you would think that the Browns would try to mend fences just in case, as a backup plan. But apparently, Baker was not having it. He truly wanted to be out of Cleveland, so he's gone. The Raiders, who are kind of in a similar situation with their team as the Washington Commanders, having allegations of, different stuff going on that hasn't been kosher. We know Dan Snyder technically is not part of the day-to-day operation of of the Commanders. His wife is. Yeah, his wife has been installed as basically as the CEO of the team while they deal with the Dan Snyder's issues. But the Raiders have announced that they have actually hired Sandra Morgan as their new president. Shout out to the Raiders, boom. Raiders having a woman taking care of, being the president of the operation. Maybe the Cowboys could take a hint and maybe start, hiring some people like, say, GM or promoting people like Will McClay to be the GM and stuff. The Cowboys are truly a mom and pop organization where everybody is, a son, a daughter, or, son-in-law or whatever. And sometimes you get too close to everything when you are that mom and pop shop. Sometimes it's better to have people outside of the organization that you don't have to see, like, at Thanksgiving and family vacations and all that. Get people that, you can kind of separate from. And finally, this is an interesting one. And I'm beginning to make me wonder if if the NFL is going to be turning this way. The NFL is, of course, partnering with, USA flag football, but they're also making a really big push to make flag football an Olympic sport. Let me say that again. The NFL is trying to make flag football an Olympic sport. Now, here's the thing that's, good for the NFL, because, see, this is one of the things that baseball hasn't learned, that you need to grow the next generation of fans. And flag football is a great way to do that. The fact that there's over 10,000 young girls that are participating in flag football across the country, you are fostering football fans for the future. Currently, the league has over 450 schools. Atlanta Falcons are going to be doing it actually in their stadium in May. Um, so you've got the growth of that for the young generation here, but not only here, also globally. So Troy Vincent was talking about, when we talk about the future of the game of football, it is no question flag football. When I've been asked over the last 24 months in particular, what does the next 100 years look like when you look at football, not professional football? It's flag football. It's the inclusion and true motto of football for all. There's a place in flag football for all. Um, Here's another interesting point here. When we, I think it's a safe assumption to say that Marion the Barbarian, probably had CTE. His family decided not to have him tested or anything like that. When you think of Demarius Thomas, who it turns out had CTE and he was contemplating returning to football, when you think of a lot of players, and as I look at, a lot of the players that I watched growing up, and knowing guys like Tony Dorsett, they believe is dealing with COVID, excuse me, not COVID, CTE, that he's dealing with CTE now effects, and unfortunately, the only way to know for sure is when the person dies, the autopsy of the brain. When you think of the vicious hits, and you're seeing the NFL trying to do different things to mitigate it. We saw the Cowboys players wearing the shield, which is like a soft top on the helmet, so that way it absorbs the hit more. May be that we end up seeing that actually in the future in the game. There's the Asus VCS helmet, and I'm not sure how well that's worked. That came out like 3 years or so ago. That was basically a soft helmet that absorbed and conformed and took the hits away. Could it be that the NFL gets closer and closer to flag football? Just saying, football is a dangerous sport. Football is rough. I don't know. I just look at how the quarterback's treated right now. I could see them going through and saying, you know what? Quarterbacks, they get to have flags on them. Let's just put flags on the quarterbacks. You can't touch them now. I mean, Lord knows Tom Brady, I've seen him literally go like that, and it's 15-yard penalty. I'm not going to say it's out of the realm of possibility. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great Thirsty Thursday. We will be back a little bit later as I get caught up on all the news where there really isn't any. There really is no news. There's nothing. This is silly season. But the countdown to training camp has begun. And I, for one, cannot wait. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.